Welcome! Have you ever wanted to make your English sound more vivid, more precise, and more natural? The secret often lies in one powerful part of speech: adjectives. Today, we're going to transform your understanding of adjectives, taking you from the basics to advanced usage, all in about 10 minutes. We'll start with what adjectives are, then learn how to compare things, how to talk about them most, and finally, the secret order that native speakers use without even thinking. By the end, you'll be using them with confidence. Let's begin. First up, Section 8.1, Descriptive Adjectives. So, what is an adjective? Simply put, an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun. It adds detail and information, painting a clearer picture for the listener. Think of nouns as the basic subject, and adjectives as the colors you use to bring that subject to life. Adjectives can describe many different qualities. They can appeal to our senses, like a red ball or spicy soup. They can describe a state, like a quiet library. And they can express an opinion, like a friendly teacher. In English, we almost always place these descriptive adjectives directly before the noun they are describing. What if you want to use more than one? When you use two simple coordinate adjectives from the same general category, you can separate them with a comma. For example, a small red car, or a bright sunny morning. Notice we don't need the word "and" here. A quick note: some words that look like adjectives are actually limiting adjectives or noun adjuncts. They tell us of noun it is, like main road or medical student. These are different from descriptive adjectives like bumpy road or brilliant student, which tell us we're focusing on the descriptive ones today. All right, time for a mini practice. Look at the image of the house. Which adjective best describes it? A, tall, B, fast, or C, loud? The answer is A, tall. A house can be tall, but it can't be fast or loud. Great job. Now let's move on to comparing things. Section 8.2, Comparative Forms. We use comparative adjectives to compare two nouns. The rules are pretty straightforward and depend on the length of the adjective. For short, one-syllable adjectives, we simply add "er" to the end. So, tall becomes taller, and fast becomes faster. A quick spelling tip: if the adjective ends in a consonant-vowel-consonant pattern, like big, you double the final consonant before adding "er", making it bigger. For two-syllable adjectives that end in the letter Y, we change the Y to an I and then add "er". For example, happy becomes happier, and busy becomes busier. Now for longer adjectives with two or more syllables, that don't end in Y, we don't change the adjective itself. Instead, we place the word "more" in front of it. So, careful becomes more careful, and expensive becomes more expensive. Of course, English loves its exceptions. We have a few common irregular adjectives. Good becomes better, not gooder. Bad becomes worse, not badder. And far can become farther for physical distance, or further for metaphorical distance. When you make a comparison, you must use the word "than" to connect the two things being compared. For example, Mia is taller than Leo, or this route is more scenic than the highway. A common mistake is to forget "than", which leaves the comparison incomplete. Another common error is combining the rules. You should never say "more taller" or "more faster". You must choose one rule, either add "ear" or use "more", but never both. Let's practice. Convert these 5 adjectives to their comparative form. You have 5 seconds. Fast, easy, difficult, good, small. Time's up. The answers are faster, easier, more difficult, better, and smaller. How did you do? Now that we can compare two things, let's learn how to compare 3 or more. Welcome to Section 8.3, Superlatives. We use superlatives when we compare 3 or more things and want to say which one is at the top or bottom of a quality. It's the biggest, the smallest, the best, or the worst. The rules for superlatives are very similar to comparatives. For one-syllable adjectives, we add "est". So, tall becomes tallest, and big becomes biggest. The same spelling rule applies, double that final consonant. For two-syllable adjectives ending in Y, we change the Y to an I and add on "est". Happy becomes happiest, and for longer adjectives with 2 or more syllables, we use the word "most" before them. Careful becomes most careful, and interesting becomes most interesting. The irregulars follow a similar pattern. Good becomes best. Bad becomes worst. and far becomes farthest or furthest. Here is a crucial rule for superlatives. You must almost always use the article the before the superlative adjective. Why? Because you're talking about one specific thing that is unique in that group. For example, she is fastest runner on the team. Or, this is most interesting book I have ever read. Forgetting the is a very common mistake for learners. Let's do a quick practice. Fill in the blank with the correct superlative form of high. Mount Everest is the mountain in the world. The answer is highest. Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Excellent. Now for the final and perhaps trickiest rule. Section 8.4. The order of adjectives. When you use multiple adjectives from different categories to describe one noun, they must follow a specific order. While it might seem complicated, native speakers follow this rule instinctively. Learning it will make your English sound much more fluent. The standard order can be remembered with the acronym OSASCOMP. It stands for opinion, size, age, shape, color, origin, material, and purpose. Let's break that down. Opinion is what you think, like lovely or ugly. Size is big or small. Age is old or new. Shape is round or square. Color is blue or red. Origin is where it's from, like Italian or Chinese. Material is what it's made of, like glass or wooden. And finally, purpose describes what it's used for, like a coffee cup. The noun always comes last. Let's build a long example to see it in action. We start with a noun. Cup. What is it for? Coffee. It's a coffee cup. What's it made of? Glass. A glass coffee cup. Where is it from? Italy. An Italian glass coffee cup. What color? Blue. A blue Italian glass coffee cup. Its shape? Round. A round blue Italian glass coffee cup. Its age? Old. An old round blue Italian glass coffee cup. Its size? Small. A small old round blue Italian glass coffee cup. And your opinion? It's lovely. So you get a lovely small old round blue Italian glass coffee cup. Now, you will almost never use all these adjectives at once. The key is that you can drop any categories you don't need, but the ones you do use must stay in the correct relative order. For example, you can have a lovely blue cup, opinion, color, or a small wooden table, size, material. Saying a wooden small table sounds incorrect because material, wooden, is coming before size, small. The correct order is a small wooden table. This is one of the most powerful rules you can learn to sound like a native speaker. Okay, you've learned about descriptive, comparative, superlative, and the order of adjectives. It's time to put it all together in a final quiz. I'll give you a sentence with jumbled adjectives. Your job is to put them in the correct order. First one, she bought a dress. The adjectives are beautiful, new, silk, red. Arrange them correctly. You have 10 seconds. The correct order is beautiful new red silk dress. Opinion, beautiful. Then age, new. Then color, red. Then material, silk. Fantastic work. Let's do a quick recap. Today you mastered the 4 pillars of adjectives. You learned how to use descriptive adjectives to add detail. You learned how to use comparatives with ear or more to compare two things. You learned how to use superlatives with est or most to find the top one in a group. And you learned the secret OSASCOMP order for using multiple adjectives. You've learned an incredible amount. Now, the key to making this stick is practice. I want you to do 3 things. First, save this video so you can review it anytime. Second, find 5 nouns around you right now and describe them using at least 2 adjectives in the correct order. Finally, share your best sentence in the comments below. We'd love to see what you come up with. Thank you for learning with us today, and we'll see you in the next lesson.